Or I'm going to re-record that because that just sounded silly. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, and welcome to the LifeWorks podcast, where we share lessons learned from the trenches of life and business to help you achieve more, live more, and be more. I am your host, Mark Botros. In this episode, we're going to talk about texting. Now, at first, you might think, well, that seems like an obvious thing. Everybody does it, and so why would we need to actually spend the time talking about texting in a podcast episode? Well, like anything, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. So this podcast is going to talk about primarily two things. One, why texting is such a powerful medium of communication and why it's so popular. And two, some texting etiquette. That is the right way to text. In a previous episode, I talk about what good email etiquette looks like. Since texting is the other major form of non-in-person communication, I would feel remiss if I didn't provide some equivalent etiquette around texting. Texting has dominated text-based communication for many reasons. One, mass adoption. Mobile devices are absolutely everywhere. There are more mobile devices than people in the world. As of November 2019, there are more than 9.3 billion mobile devices, according to GSMAintelligence.com. There are 7.6 billion people in the world, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and according to Pew Internet Research, 81% of mobile phone users text versus 52% that use their phones for email. According to USA Today, mobile phone users use the SMS or share by text button 3 to 4 times more often than they use the Twitter share button. 2. Texting can be done synchronously, that is in real time, or asynchronously, with delay at your convenience. 3. Texting requires low bandwidth and can be done anywhere at any time. 4. Texting can be short form, long form, and can include multimedia like images, sound, and video clips. 5. Texting is entertaining. 6. Texts get our attention. 7. Texts provide immediate gratification. 8. The device-to-device nature of texting makes texting highly personal. 9. Texting can be very personable, as you can somewhat transmit emotion through emojis. 10. Texts can quickly transmit logistical information. For example, let's meet at Starbucks at 9:30. 11. Texting can be an individual or group communication. 12. People need an informal means of communication, and texting is one of the most widely used aside from in-person and social media. And finally, 13, texting allows for multiple conversations at once. In terms of etiquette, texting is informal by nature, so we almost need to take our etiquette cues from in-person communication and tailor it to electronic media. So let's talk about texting etiquette for a moment. What I'm about to share is a list of different etiquette tips when it comes to texting. 1, length doesn't matter. But in the case of texting, shorter is probably better. Longer, more detailed conversations are better done as a phone call or in person. 2, texting should not be used for complex business transactions, communications, and collaborations. You should use a more formal means of communication like in-person meetings, video conferencing, phone, and email for business matters. 3, special occasion responses. For example, party invitations for graduations, engagements, weddings, baby showers, etc., should typically be done via the requested mode for RSVP, unless you are explicitly instructed to RSVP by text in the invitation. 4. In initiating a text conversation, you must always identify yourself if you've never texted with this person before. Otherwise, they'll be left wondering who you are and will be resistant to anything you say. 5. In initiating a text conversation, it's always nice to use a pleasantry when opening a text conversation, like, "Happy Friday," or "I hope your day is going well." 6. For some people, texting is personal space, so text with someone that you feel comfortable connecting with in such a personal way. 7. Texting should never, ever, ever, ever be used to transmit breakups. That's just cowardly, and you are better than that. And anyone who would ever break up with you using a text is someone you do not want in your life anyway, so move on. You're better off without them. 8. Use acronyms and shorthand that the other person knows, and define acronyms for them if you're not sure whether they know them or not. 9. In the same way that someone is speaking to you, you want to acknowledge them and what they say. The same is true for texting. Don't leave a person hanging for days and weeks. Reply at an appropriate time. If it is an urgent question, answer right away. If it is less urgent, you can wait on it, but it would be good to at least acknowledge the text in some way, like, "Hey, thanks for letting me know," or "Great to hear from you," or "Let me check on that and get back to you." 10. If you found that you missed a text and never responded, just simply acknowledge it, apologize for it, and reply. For example, "I'm so sorry, I just saw this text." 11. Be aware that when you are in a group text situation, everything you write could be read by everyone else. 12. The best forms of communication in order are 1. In person, 2. Video conference, like for example Skype, FaceTime, Google Duo, or Zoom. 3. Phone, that enables voice-to-voice communication. 4. Texting, because it's informal and personal. And 5. Email, which is considered a little more formal. And finally, 13. Please do not text when you are in the middle of a conversation, work, or a social situation where you should otherwise be present and engaged. Most mature, civilized people agree that it's rude. All in all, what is etiquette? It's not just a way of behavior. It is a way of behaving that is classy and that doesn't offend people. If I were to give you one etiquette takeaway, it's this: treat others better than the way you want to be treated, and you'll never go wrong. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe or sign up for my free updates at my website at markabotros.com, and you'll never miss a post or an episode. And if you think that someone will benefit from this, please share with them. Please comment on it in social media and or connect with me personally. I would love to hear from you.